At the lavish banquet in Windsor, Britain's King Charles made a point of reminding Donald Trump that Ukraine is fighting off Russian tyranny. That this must be brought up regularly before the US president illustrates the tragedy of the Ukrainians. Thousands have perished defending the front line and in the cities under daily attacks by Russian missiles. And they keep surprising the world with resilience and determination. Today I'm going on the record with one of the unsung heroes of this struggle, Serhiy Prytula, a civic leader and the drone king of Ukraine, who may one day become the country's president.
From the spotlight to national service, Ukrainians have seen this story before. Volodymyr Zelensky turned a comedy career into the presidency. Serhiy Prytula took a similar path, first as one of Ukraine's most recognizable entertainers, then as a would-be politician. He ran for parliament in 2019 and lost. A year later, he challenged Vitaly Klitschko for the Kyiv mayor's office and lost again. After the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic, he founded the Serhiy Prytula Foundation, stayed active in politics, and was preparing to launch his own party. And then Putin struck.
My job was about how to make people smile. Now I live in the times when I don't want to make people smile. I want to unite people just for revenge.
Prytula channeled his popularity into a stunningly successful fundraising for Ukraine's war effort. Within months, his campaigns were pulling in millions.
We make a call that we start fundraising campaign for revenge, and we raised a little bit less, 10 million euro per one day.
Since then, his foundation has worked almost like a parallel Ministry of Defense, delivering vehicles, radios, medical supplies, drones, and even a satellite. Altogether, it has raised roughly $200 million. Prytula has become a central figure in Ukraine's drone revolution, helping finance production and push new systems to the front within weeks. His work embodies a larger wartime transformation, a civilian innovation ecosystem capable of supplying the military faster than traditional procurement ever could. In no small part thanks to him, analysts now speak of Ukraine as a drone superpower, a live case study for NATO in low-cost, rapidly iterated software-driven warfare. Today, Prytula stands among Ukraine's most trusted public figures, enjoying the confidence of more than half the country. Will he decide to turn that trust into another bid for a major political career?
Serhiy, thank you very much for joining us. It's a privilege to have you here.
Thank you, Adam.
I'd like to show you something first.
Our countries have the closest defense, security and intelligence relationship ever known. In 2 world wars, we fought together to defeat the forces of tyranny. Today, as tyranny once again threatens Europe, we and our allies stand together in support of Ukraine to deter aggression and secure peace.
What's your thoughts when you hear this?
God bless King.
Okay, and
that's pretty good message from United Kingdom, and I'm really happy that King can speak with Donald Trump this way, because sometimes we don't understand in Ukraine what does it mean foreign affairs from the White House, because the President of the United States is very flexible with decisions. And now, when the situation on the front line in Ukraine is really very tough, not a disaster, but really tough, so we need to understand what we can expect from our partners, from our allies. So that's why I hope that that the one more step to knock the door in the White House for more supporting of Ukraine.
right. You said recently in one of the interviews that Ukrainians ultimately can count only on themselves.
Yep, of course.
But the harsh reality is that help from the West is essential.
Look, we are really very thankful to all the countries who support Ukraine in this terrible war. But we have the most modern war in history, and we use the huge resources to fight against Russia and to protect our people. And of course, we hope that all the world leaders who told to Ukrainians for dozens of years what does it mean, the value of human rights, the value of human's life, what does it mean democracy, etc., now will not leave us alone in a case of danger with such a terrible enemy in a time when we're fighting for all the values that we share with our Western partners. And
yes, Donald Trump mentioned the common values just before the king spoke.
Sometimes he mentioned about the same values. Sometimes he can say something about our president like he is dictator, etc. So that's why I said that we don't understand the strong foreign policies of our U.S. partners.
Right. You have your ear very closely to the ground. You meet people, you meet commanders, you meet soldiers, you meet engineers, and you also meet people who contribute to your effort to collect money for armaments and medical supplies, whatnot. So, what is your sense of where this is now standing, the whole situation in Ukraine? What is the mood?
Adam, first of all, let me to thank you for this opportunity to have a meeting with your audience and to use this platform in this studio to say thank you to all the supporters from the whole world who support Ukraine as a state, our armed forces, who support different volunteer initiatives in Ukraine, which work with military and also with civilians who suffered because of Russian aggression. And yes, exactly, we work on the ground because if you talk about my foundation, so it's multifunctional foundation. We work in military direction, in humanitarian direction. We have training center for our military, and we trained about 30,000 Ukrainian military in the previous 3 years. And also we create and develop civil awareness centers around all Ukraine. We have 87 centers, and we prepared for different situations, more than 80,000 people. So,
and what does it tell you about the situation? What's the mood of the country? What you have probably better sense than politicians who sometimes are in ivory towers.
Okay. Now the main challenge and the main goal for all of us is to substitute the human on the battlefield. That's the main reason of all what we are doing in Ukraine, in Miltech. We use different innovations. So we try to use more everything unmanned. Ground robotic systems for logistic or for medical evacuation, or UAVs, or interceptors, or FPV drones, or fiber optical FPV drones, etc., etc.
So it's to substitute shortages of manpower.
Yes, we try to substitute the soldier exactly, do not risk with the humans' lives, because Russians they have no value of a human's life. For Ukrainians, the human's life is priceless, and that's why we try our best to protect our soldiers and to help them to destroy plans of Kremlin to occupy all Ukraine.
You know, the Russian drone incursion into Poland last week made everyone in the West realize how far behind Ukraine NATO is, and now everybody is rushing to Ukraine to learn the ropes. Are you going to be part of this, of passing on this expertise you have built up?
Adam, exactly happened something that we were waiting for. I don't know what was the reaction exactly in Polish society, but we were expected that Russia will try to dig a little bit more deeply in the case of your defense system, your possibilities to protect your country. I thought that they will start from Baltic countries, but they choose Poland, and I saw what happened. And I don't want to terrify somebody, to scare, but I don't think that we have a good news for our Polish partners, because in Ukraine now we have big trouble because everybody talk about some security guarantees for Ukraine, but we all understand in Ukraine there are no 100% security guarantees because nobody wants to fight on the battlefield against Russia. We're really thankful with all help that we get from United States.
You mean the Western
Yes,
allies?
yes, of course, because people don't want to have some trouble with Russia. Some countries afraid about of escalation, and
But let's go back to what you said about, you know, you sort of were counting that such an incident would take place. What, to wake everybody up or what?
I think that it must be a wake-up call for Poland and for whole Europe, because they will never stop. Because I remember in your history of Poland, 3 times you were divided, and every time there were Russia. And I think that the plans of Putin and society that support his imperial plans are strong.
But going back to your experience as someone at the forefront of this technological advance that you mentioned earlier, is it now more likely that Europe will learn from your experience? We heard from the European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen that they will spend 6 billion euros on investing in your capabilities.
Adam, I think that that's the only one right way. And I remember what one MP from Bundestag said. I had the discussion panel in Berlin a few months ago, and he said, it's so pity, but we wasted time and we lost 3 years. And only after J.D. Vance's speech in Munich, he said that it was like a cold shower for all Germans. And I think that for all Europeans also. So in the moment when you will start to understand that some guy from Oklahoma City or from Massachusetts will not sacrifice his life to protect Polish people or German people or French people, so your life will change, because you will try to live with some opinion like everything can happen. Are we ready to meet face to face with a society of murderers, rapers and stealers? Because we in Ukraine have business with them every day on the battlefield.
Right. So paradoxically, you're saying the Europeans should be grateful to J.D. Vance for that speech in Munich.
Yes, paradoxically, but we saw what happened in Bundestag in the last week, where it was old stuff of Bundestag. They changed the constitution, and now I remember that Chancellor Merz, he said when journalists asked him how much resources you want to spend for reform of Bundeswehr and defense industry of Germany, he said unlimited.
Right.
So that's the only right way.
So this is the real change, the Zeitenwende.
I hope so.
Okay. In your public statements, you normally avoid talking about politics. For example, you never comment on President Zelensky, his performance, or potential compromises leading to peace, potentially. And I remember in one occasion you said you do not negotiate with rapists. But then, you know, President Trump may have a different opinion. Let's listen.
Well, he's going to have to get going and make a deal. He's going to have to make a deal. Zelensky's going to have to make a deal.
So
So
he says Zelensky, meaning Ukraine, will have to make a deal.
so what, Adam?
So what's your reaction to it?
With all my respect to President Trump, but only Ukrainians will decide what will do Ukrainians in the future.
Fair enough, but do people like you see any room for such a deal? Is there a space for any compromise? Zelensky seems to say, okay, I'm ready under certain circumstances, but how is it going to go down in Ukraine if it happens? How are you going to react to it?
Of course, everybody in Ukraine are very tired because of war, and we lost a lot of people, and we have troubles with the mental health of nation. but it doesn't mean that we will give up and that Russian will control us. And of course, we are ready for negotiations. And you said that I didn't criticize my president. I will never do it when I'm crossing the border and I speak with some officials or media abroad, because I'm a fan of one voice policies. But if we talk about our situation, current situation in Ukraine, so for example, 1 month ago, where presidential political party tried to attack our anti-corruption institutes. So I was on the meetings with the other supporters of anti-corruption infrastructure in Ukraine. So that's...
How serious is this corruption situation still in Ukraine?
Not so serious.
Because it's a sort of cliche in the West to say Ukraine is corrupt.
Yeah.
But in your assessment, how serious is that?
That's not so serious like people can imagine or they hear about the corruption in Ukraine. I have my favorite question to our partners in Berlin or Brussels or Ottawa. I ask them, when you heard last time about corruption in Belarus? Because I have friends in Belarus, and Belarus is absolutely corrupted country. But you will never hear something about the corruption in Belarus, because if you will talk about corruption in Belarus, next day you'll be in jail. So that's why everybody keeps silence and live their life there. But it doesn't mean that it's not corrupted country. The trouble of Ukraine is that we are the most transparency country in the case of fighting against corruption.
To fight corruption, it has to be visible.
Of course, and that's the question that we ask ourselves all time in Ukraine. So a few years ago, the head of Supreme Court was arrested because of corruption. Is it good news or bad? Of course, bad news because he's the head of Supreme Court, but it's a good news because he was arrested.
So going back to the previous topic, you know, when it comes to, I don't know, red lines or the borders of this potential future compromise to get peace, where do you see that?
There are no compromise about the borders of Ukraine, and nobody in Ukraine will not let to change any borders of our country. Doesn't matter, Zelensky or somebody else. So we cannot imagine that somebody can speak this way, that we can say that, like, we don't need more Crimea Peninsula, or we don't need more the part of Donetsk region or Kherson region.
Let me be precise here. Are we talking in legal terms, or are you also talking in terms of, you know, how the war carries on? Because at the moment there are facts on the ground. You know, Crimea is captured.
Crimea is captured.
Parts of Donbass is captured.
And every day Crimea is under attack of Ukrainian UAVs and middle strikes and all types of strike drones, and everything can happen next day. Because of course Russians, they have a lot of troops, and they lost every day last month 1,000 of soldiers. And they don't count what they lost. But about the question, I speak with people on the land, because as you mentioned, we work with military, but also we care about the civilian who suffered with Russian aggression, and work with local communities. So there is no idea in Ukrainian society like we can just let Russia occupy some territories. We will fight. But of course, everybody think that we can do something on the diplomatic way, and we expect that our partners, our allies will push more and more. And every day when you heard from Ukrainian side that we ask about more sanctions, so that's because we believe that it can be a solution. But
do you believe, you know, there's a lot of discussion among sort of think tankers mostly about sudden collapse. So people are saying either Ukraine will suddenly collapse because there is a bit of a stalemate at the moment, or potentially they're talking about Russia sudden collapse because it had happened before to Russia in their history. So how do you see that? I mean, in a sense, what you're saying is that you're counting on that sudden collapse of Russia.
I think that we need to be like more realistic, and we don't need to.
Please.
And we don't need to live in a fairy tale. Of course, we want to destroy our enemies, but we cannot do it with only our passion to do it. We need the whole world to unite to this mission. But it's very pity for us, and we're really disappointed in Ukraine when we can hear something like we cannot send some more modern weapons to Ukraine because of potential escalation of a war in Ukraine. North Korean leader, dictator, sent 50,000 troops to Kursk Oblast, and he don't care about any type of escalation. And they just laughing from all the Western leaders, because Iran, Belarus, Russia, China, and North Korea, they don't care about escalation. They care about the rules of powerful countries, etc. And if you remember, just a few days ago, U.S. Army officers, they visited the military exercises in Belarus and shake hand to Belarus general with Russians which were there. Do you believe that U.S. Army will protect your country, Adam, after that? After absolutely weak reaction on the invasion of dozens of Russian drones to Poland. So my message is to Polish society and all Polish people around the world that please try to prepare yourself for any situation that can happen, because everything can happen. We never imagined before in Ukraine that in 21st century someone can invade to your country with the thousands of tanks, APCs, jets, fleet, etc., with hundreds and thousands of missiles. But we are in this situation, and that's why I really think and believe that Poland, exactly at this moment in this world, have the most strong partner. It's Ukraine, because we are only one country in the world who have experience of the modern war, and we can share this experience with the country which support us in 2022 like nobody else. Because I remember statements of the European leaders who tried to not provocate Putin. At this moment, Poland sent 300 tanks to help Ukraine. And that's why
some other equipment
yes,
as
and that's
well.
why we're thankful and we are ready to share our experience.
Do you have a feeling that perhaps now the roles have switched a little, that you get more support from Berlin, UK, France, the Netherlands than from Poland?
We have really tough situation now in relations between our countries, and it's really very sad, because that's my opinion. I'm really sure that it's absolutely stupidity to destroy everything what we start to build after 2022. Of course, we had very tragic pages in the history of both countries, but everything what happened 80 years ago cannot destroy everything what we try to build now. And I'm really sure that the unity between Poland and Ukraine in military and economy direction can create something very strong for all European Union.
Right. So if you are in, let's speculate, few years from now you're in some high office in Ukraine, what will you do to improve these relations with Poland?
I want to have the same horizon like you said, but in Ukraine now I cannot plan something more than few days or few weeks.
But you are recognized as a Ukrainian leader in Ukraine.
Yes, I have.
So are you ready to step up and take responsibility?
Adam, please, I have influence in Ukrainian society, and I feel the support of millions of Ukrainians behind me, behind my neck. They push me to do something every day to support our military, to make advocacy abroad. But my only one and the general ambition now is just to survive. Just believe me. I'm a father of 4 kids, and I want to see like they grow up and visit school and to play with them. But every day I need to spend in absolutely mad
I can
businesses.
understand that, but at the end of the day, you don't rule out a possibility that one day you will assume greater responsibility for your country.
Let's wait for this day, and after that we'll come back to this question, Adam. Okay?
Serhiy, thank you so much. Thank you. It was great to have you here with us, and I hope you will come again.
Thank you for inviting. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you very much for watching On The Record. Stay with us for more news and analysis.